to Granny's place. Take the time and space to give yourself a break. Here you'll find some love, music, laughter, and above all, she'll dare to tell the truth. And so come to Granny's place and give your spirit a big boost.
Welcome to Granny's Place, a haven for love, entertainment, and uncommon sense. I'm Sweet Baby James, and I'm here to introduce you to Granny Rocks, and also to our ongoing theme, You Ask the Questions, Granny Provides the Answers. But first, I would like to introduce you to Granny. Granny Rocks is another name for Beth Green, an intuitively guided counselor with 38 years of experience. She has been a longtime social activist and is the author of 6 books about human behavior. So I think she knows something about human behavior. She has unusual insights into our issues, personal and social, as well as a special warmth which helps us to look at ourselves more honestly. Plus, whatever the question, Granny uses music and humor to deliver a message that has universal applicability and addresses the heart of the matter. So even if you haven't submitted a question for this given show, you may very well discover Granny's comments to other viewers, answer questions you don't even know you had. Be aware that Granny answers all questions in the order she receives them, so get yours in as soon as possible. So now, here's Granny!
Are you hearing the roar of an elephant in the background? I don't know if you're picking up that sound. Probably not, but
Well, I'm
hear
hearing the tinkling of piano keys.
It's the garbage trucks. I'm not used to living in a city. I mean, there's so much noise in the city.
That is so true.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's so true.
And I just bought a new computer. We just bought a new computer so that we could do Granny's Place. And it's a noisy computer. It
Right.
must be destined for
That's right.
the city. Anyway.
This is not the quiet country home.
No, it's not. Anyway, welcome to Granny's Place. I'm so glad that you are here. And I'm so happy that you're sending in questions. Now, send in more questions, because the sooner you send in a question, the sooner I can get to it.
Yeah.
And we've got some openings for questions. So I'd love that. And also be aware that every Wednesday now at 6:15 Pacific time, a Granny Raps on the News.
Yes, indeed.
And that is live, and you can talk to me live, and I can say, hello, 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 and I get completely distracted and not even remember
you can
what I'm
talk via
saying.
the chat is what
Oh,
you
yeah,
can do.
I'm talking. No,
Yeah.
I can say, they can chat.
They can chat, and you
I
can answer them
I
even
can-
live. Yes.
Exactly. Oh,
Yes.
I mean, it is like an addiction. But we did it last time, and it went really great. But also, as I say, I just get distracted. Like, oh, I have to say hello to this one. I'm like, what was I saying? What was I saying? You know, I have a
Really?
feeble memory anyway, guys. And then 15 minutes after the live show, and by the way,
the
if
live
you-
rap. Yeah.
The
Yeah, yeah.
live rap goes on, then and then you can see that later on Facebook, even if you haven't come in and seen it live. And then we have Granny's Place at 6:30.
Yep.
This is all Pacific time, and then 15 minutes after the live show, if you're still alive, 3 hours later, right?
3 hours. Oh, yeah. There's time
That's right,
zone
if
3
you're
hours
on
later.
and who knows where you might be, out of Mongolia, something, if you have a good internet connection. Then we have Granny's Kitchen, where we all sit around and we talk about the topics
Yeah.
that we discuss, and we deepen our understanding, and I get to fill out some other sides of things that I
Yes.
can't do here, and people get to give their comments, and it's really great. So, you know, that's a lot of time, right? But it's once a week you come to Grandma, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like you go to see your mother once a week for 2 hours. So
Yeah, this is less than that. This is 1 hour plus 15 plus, 1 hour 3/4 if you do all of it.
right. So
Come visit Grandma.
Right,
Come on.
visit Grandma. Come to Granny's Place, and anyway, you can watch it on our
You'll
archives.
feel better when you go home.
That's right. That's right. You'll be so glad to escape. You'll say, oh, "Thank God, I get to go home." And what was I going to say about Granny's Kitchen? See, I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Granny Rocks TV on YouTube has the archives.
Right, that's right.
Of Granny's Place and Granny's Kitchen.
Yes.
And maybe Granny Raps on the News is going to be hitting the archives too. So you have lots of choices. And then you can always comment later. And
That's right.
if Facebook lets me know, I will answer your comment.
Yes. Wonderful.
So, take it away, Sweet Baby James, who is, anybody who's been watching the show notices that Sweet Baby James has a new hat.
Yeah.
He had another hat that we loved, but, with the disabled brain of the aging, we have no idea where it went.
I can't find my hat. Where's my hat?
So he went out and he got another hat with
That's
a
right.
similar feel and a similar size.
That's right.
So let's welcome a round of applause for Sweet Baby James' new hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so
Take it away.
the first question is from Christina. What do you think about animal abuse in society, and do you feel mankind has somewhat fallen behind in awareness of other species' worth and how we should be treating and protecting them?
Well, don't get me started on the way we treat animals. You didn't mention all the different kinds of animal abuse, but we can talk about, the pets, the puppy mills, and the way that very nice people treat their pets by leaving them home alone all the time, and they can't help it, and they really love their pets and they don't know what to do, but they have to leave their pet alone, and that can be very nerve-wracking for the pet. They're social animals, and I'm not trying to call you an abuser, but I'm saying, we all have our problems, right? And, coping, and, we're struggling just walking our dogs because now we're in the city and our dogs used to run around themselves, so it's not so easy to take care of our pets, right? And then we don't know how to, we don't even know what to feed them. And then you have real horrible abuse of people leaving their animals chained up in a parking lot in order to protect their property, but the animal has no love, no comfort, no warmth. Those of us who are in love with our animals, we know that our animals are very sentient beings, and it's painful. But then there's a whole other level of animal abuse, isn't there? It's like the way we treat our farm animals. Some people are doing an incredible job trying to change that, but it's difficult for people to sometimes change their practices because they're economically ingrained.
Do you want to share with us what you're referring to as the treatment of farm animals?
Well, for instance, when I used to drive up or someone else used to drive me up Central California, you saw all these cows squished together, huddled in their shit, and then animals that are kept in cages and not given freedom to roam, or they're kept pregnant all the time in order to produce. For us, it's just like using the animal without any regard, and then the slaughterhouses and it's very, very painful. Now, but the question is why, and that's what you're talking about. So, do I have a feeling about that? Of course I do. I don't know what to do about it because it would take a lot to change our economy, and for people to feel, educated in other ways of treating their animals and having the money. Like, oh yeah, we'd love to go hire an animal trainer so that, we're not yanking our dogs around on the leash, but, can we afford that and afford this and afford that? So, I'm just trying to say that it's not always easy, but if we could allow ourselves to feel the pain of those animals, we'd probably stop eating them. And that's one of the problems that I've always faced, is that I haven't been able to survive on a vegetarian diet. And then I thought, what are we going to do with all those cows and those chickens and all of that? But at least we could treat them with more love and caring.
And the Native Americans, a lot of them had a tradition that when they were going to kill a deer, for example, they would honor the deer and they would thank the deer for providing them the sustenance.
Yes.
So that was a respectful way.
Exactly. So there is that. There is definitely. Now, the question that you're asking, Christina, is such a good one. Have we fallen behind in our caring for other animals? And because we are animals too. And I would like to take that question maybe to a somewhat different level, which is to say that we live in a hierarchical universe, and we're always thinking that we have to be on top. So I have to be on top with my brother. I have to be on top with my friends. I have to be on top with my society. My race has to be on top of your race. My gender has to be on top of your gender. And I don't mean that sexually. I mean my whatever. We all have to be on top, on top, on top, on top, on top. So that means, we're in a very competitive universe. Well, that happens too when we're talking about animals. See, even the kind ones, it tells us that we are given dominion, over God gave us dominion. Well, did God give us dominion, or did we give ourselves dominion because we were smarter or more powerful? We knew how to, get the upper hand. And see, I get it. I lived in Southern California, and we had coyotes in the neighborhood, and they'd eat our animals. And I just said we had coyotes in our neighborhood, but we were living in their neighborhood. And so what we're facing is the power struggle between humanity and every other species on the planet that we want to control. I mean, think about birds in cages. I just don't believe it, that for our own entertainment, we would put a bird in a cage. At the same time, maybe that person is so desperately lonely that their only friend is that bird in that cage. You know what I mean? So we have to understand what motivates this. We've put all kinds of animals in cages at zoos, and we're trying to improve the way that we do that. But see, it's the whole issue of hierarchy and dominion, that we have dominion. Now, supposing we started to think of the world in a different way. Supposing we started to think in terms of us, like we are the creatures of the earth. And what do we, the creatures of the earth, need? Yes. So all of us need place. We need a place, we need safety, we need food, we need our habitats, right? And what do? Well, we are so uncontrollable. We don't care how many children we have and how much we squeeze out the other species, because we have the right, because God gave us the right, or the guns gave us the right, or our ability to hunt gave us the right. See, we don't live in harmony with anybody or anything. So you put it in that perspective, and you begin to understand that it's really, in my opinion, the whole attitude of being on top and using and exploiting everything around us. Even if it's the land, it's the same thing. It's not just animal abuse. We ruin the land to make money. And we feel like we have to. So I'm saying, Christina, that I appreciate your question, but we need a whole shift in consciousness about who we are and how we are all part of the web of life, as so many people have said. And that when we are a part of the web of life, that means that we have to be conscious about our impact on everything and everybody. Maybe the koala bear is going to go in and rip the bamboo off. I think it's koalas eat bamboo. Well, I think it's something like that. Forgive me if I've got the wrong, product that they're eating. Eucalyptus. Maybe it's kill all the eucalyptus tree. I can't remember. Somebody eats bamboo. Somebody eats eucalyptus. Well, whoever they are, isn't this embarrassing? I knew this once, but what can I say? What I gain in wisdom, I lose in memory. So, but you get the point, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. So the koala bear, or the whatever it is, the pandas. That's it. The pandas and they're not thinking, oh my God, if I strip this thing, it's not going to be there for me tomorrow because the people next door are already taken over all the land there with their burning everything down, right? But we have been blessed with intelligence, we think, and capacities to be self-reflective and look at what we're doing, see?
Yeah.
So we are part of the web of life, and we do have a responsibility, and that responsibility is to be conscious of the impact of our behavior on the web of life, which supports us all.
Yeah. And I just thought of something, the golden rule. Supposing we treated animals the way we would want to be treated. For example, chickens.
Yeah.
There's free-range chickens
Yeah.
And then there's caged chickens.
Yes.
Now, which would we rather be?
That's right.
You know?
Right
yeah.
on.
And then her question also is, how do we protect the animals? You know? And I would suggest maybe some more environmental protection kind of things could come about. Like, if we're going to have chickens that are slaughtered for our needs, why not require more of that happening to be free-range chickens instead of one sitting in cages all the time? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's, it's a change of caring.
Yeah.
It's a change of caring for everything. And it's even, and I could get into this, but I'm not going to. We don't even take care of ourselves. We're so busy making money and stressing ourselves out for ego as well as survival that we don't take care of ourselves. We abuse and exploit ourselves and one another every day.
I just thought of something.
What?
Even if we can't pass laws for free range for the chickens or whatever, we as consumers can choose to buy free-range chicken eggs instead of the other kinds.
That's right.
And so the farmers would get the idea, free-range chickens are really, the eggs are selling and the chickens are selling. Hey, let's let these chickens have a good life while they have it.
That's right.
And that applies to all of them, all of the animals, you know?
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. We do have the power of purchase. And, there 20 years ago, you couldn't even find, organic food hardly anywhere,
That's right, yeah.
Or when I started to do all of this, health food stuff, it's like in the 80s, it was hard to find. But now it's everywhere because it makes money. But of course, the moment it makes money, it also becomes corrupted. Let's not get into that. So anyway, that's a long answer to a much deeper question that I had time for today. But thank you for your question.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you, Granny. Okay.
Take it away.
The next question is from Anonymous. How can we tell the difference between something we really need to have or do or experience and something that we just have an urge toward and might just be that or might be ego?
Good for you that you are asking that question. How many people even ask the question? Most of us just go, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I need it. Give me. I want it. Well, I can tell you something. I don't have an immediate answer to that. Hopefully it'll come to me as I'm talking. But, I do everything off the cuff, right? So, the first thought that I have is that when I was a child, la, 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 I can't think of the melody. Anyway, there we go.
There you go.
We were poor. Mm-hmm. We had to ask that question about everything we did. I was of the generation, that came out of the war. That was the World War II. The war, right? Yeah, There's so many wars since then, really which is the... Anyway, so being poor, and there are a lot of people who are poor today, and they still are buying things they don't need. But anyway, I remember as a child that I was automatically asking myself, what do I really need? I mean, we didn't get toys at Christmas. First of all, we were Jewish, but that didn't seem to stop some other people. We got one thing at Hanukkah, and it was like chocolate coins or a pair of socks. You know what I mean? Something I needed anyway.
Yeah,
and
something you needed.
I was so amazed. Oh, you know what? An answer is coming to me as I'm talking to you about this.
Okay.
Oh, I feel so happy. So I was amazed when I saw that people, even poor people, were overspending to give their children toys, right, at Christmas. So what kind of an attitude do you think that
Well, I know I gave
us?
my parents a lot of pressure to spend money for Christmas. And, of course, I really needed that electric train.
You did.
I mean, that was not a want. That was a
No, that was an absolute
need.
Yeah, exactly, because you had to get to work, so you needed the electric train. and you didn't want to pollute the environment, so it had to be electric. So anyway, so what I'm thinking is, I was conditioned not to want anything. And I was very poor. a lot of my adult life.
Yeah.
And I never went shopping. I didn't window shop. I didn't look at ads. I didn't look at what people were wearing. I was busy doing other things.
Yeah.
I was doing things that were interesting to me, and they didn't include spending money, which I didn't have anyway. So I had that orientation. Boy, things have changed, but now I need this for Granny's Place, and I need that for Granny's Place, and I need this for the music, and I need that computer, and I must have that. And as you age, you do have some needs, I have to say. But anyway, the point that I'm making, you're probably saying, what is the point you're making, Granny, is that we have an association of love with things.
Uh-huh.
So if you love me, you'll give me a diamond ring. Have you ever known anybody, of course this would never be you, but anybody who, as a woman, was showing off the ring? Like somehow that was a symbol of how loved you are. It's like, oh, look at that, right? So there is an association which is like, oh, he's so successful, right, that he can give me this ring, or he loves me so much, or look what they gave me, or look at that. Now, in a very subtle way, it starts to happen that we begin to feel like love comes out of the barrel of a gift box, right?
Right.
There was a saying, in the old days, what, power comes out of the barrel of a gun?
Yeah,
right. So this is coming out of love comes out of the barrel of a gift box. So now, supposing you don't have anybody giving you love, like you're alone, well, what are you going to do? You may feel sad. You're going to go buy something. Well, are you going to eat something, of course?
Well, yeah, how are you going to choose to spend your money? Are you going to ask for guidance, or are you just going to go spend it?
Well, my point is that, are you buying love?
Ooh,
so that is my point. See, giving yourself, oh my God, I love myself. So I just gave myself this, and I gave myself that, and I gave myself this, and I gave myself that, and I gave myself this, and he gave me this, and I want this from him. And that son of a bitch who doesn't love me, is he going to give me a holiday in the desert with my friends at the spa? See what I mean? So when things become a substitute for love, even if it's self-love, it becomes like, very, very, very difficult for us to say, I don't really need that. I don't really need that. I don't really need that. So what this is really telling us is that we need to be thinking about why we want this. Mm-hmm. It's Granny. What am I going to tell you? You're going to ask yourself why, right? So why do you think you really need this? And do you really need this? Somehow, I bet you 9 times out of 10, you can answer that question. Do you need this because your friends have it and you want to look like them? Mm-hmm. Do you need this because you're feeling lonely and you need something to make you feel loved? Do you need this because you really need this? Mm-hmm. And then, if you do need it, can you afford it?
And then once you get the answer to that why question, how do you tell the difference between the urge that you have versus this is for the highest good of myself?
Well, that's the point. When you know why you need it, why you want it, then you're beginning to get a clue as to whether this is coming just from like desperation, greed, ego. I have to keep up with the Joneses, right?
Okay.
So you begin to trust yourself. It's like, if I really feel like this is the right thing. I mean, lately we have been crazy spending money on music. Do I really need this? Well, I think, it's either going to go now or it's going to be in the old age, and I don't think I'm going to live that long. So we might as well live the life, because I need this now to fulfill something deep within me. I know that this is fulfilling something deep within me, that this is not just coming out of keeping up with the Joneses or trying to make myself feel loved. It's really my last chance to go out.
Making music, that fulfills something deep within you.
Exactly. That's why we had to buy a piano, and it had to be a great piano.
A grand piano.
Yeah, but a great grand.
Oh, great
piano.
grand.
Not just
grand, but great grand.
A great grand piano. Well, but because it gave me so much fulfillment. And the wildest thing is, it was kind of intuitive. My intuition said, go get a piano. And I didn't even play. And now I'm playing concerts, and it's a few months later. And my whole destiny has been changed by
And
buying
by you
that
playing
piano.
this great grand piano, it's a blessing to others. It's a blessing to me when I hear you play.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be live streaming
Oh.
a piano concert
Uh-huh.
at the end of October. We'll let you know all about it.
Yes.
I play intuitively guided piano music because, I have no memory. I could never remember anything. Long story, tell you all about that later. But it's like you really know in your heart, this is deeply fulfilling, so this is for my highest good and for the highest good of all.
Yeah.
Versus this is to make me look good or make myself feel better
Feel-
in
yeah.
some kind of a superficial way.
Yeah.
And if you can be that honest with yourself,
Uh-huh.
then you will have the nerve to spend the money you should spend when you should spend it, and not spend the money that you shouldn't spend when you shouldn't be spending it.
Very good.
Okay. There is a ton more about that answer, but that's all for now because we looks like we have to.
Thank you, Granny.
Time-
Just got a few more minutes, but we have time to get this question in,
Yes.
possibly. Okay.
Yes.
This next question is from Anonymous. Hi, Granny. I've been in a relationship for over 20 years, most of which was emotionally, verbally, and sometimes physically abusive. A few years back, I filed for divorce, which caused him to stop the abuse, so I stayed with him. Despite him being much better, I still don't have the love and respect for him that he wants or needs, but yet I can't get myself to divorce him because of fear, guilt, etc. I feel so stuck. How can I get clear on what is the right thing to do?
Oh, what a wonderful question. My brain, when you ask that question, Anonymous, goes in two opposite directions. And, one is to say, well, it's fear, and so you should leave him. And face your fear and look at what you're afraid of and move on. But another thought comes to mind, and I'm sure lots of people would tell you the first one, right? Maybe you love him and you're just afraid to feel it. When you've been in an abusive relationship, and yet if you love the person to start with, you both grow up, you both mature. It sounds like he's making an effort. Maybe it isn't guilt and fear that's keeping you in the relationship. Now, have you and he gone into couples counseling
Right.
together?
Yeah.
I do a lot of couples counseling. It's amazingly revealing. People start cleaning up the wreckage of the past,
Yeah.
and then they can find the closeness again. If you're staying in that relationship, I hope that you're getting couples counseling because you shouldn't be there resenting him. Obviously, that's only punitive, but
Yeah.
it also deprives you of the experience of loving relationship. And if through counseling you can't resolve what's between you, you will at least feel like you've given it a try.
Yeah.
But maybe, honey, there's something about that man that you need emotionally, right? And maybe you just don't want to admit it because you're embarrassed. Because what are people going to say if they see you caving in to him and his demands? So what's really important here is for you to go inside and ask yourself, do you really need something? Now, the need could be, oh, I need somebody in the next room because I get scared of the dark. Okay, so that might be a need, but that isn't a need for him. That's a need for somebody in the next room because I'm scared of the dark, right?
Right.
Or I need his income, or I need somebody to babysit the children,
Or a companion, you
or a
know.
companion, or whatever it is. So it could be that, but I'm not asking you if you need somebody. I'm asking you if you need him. And if you come up with the feeling that you do or that you might, then you should explore working on that relationship and giving both of you a chance to make it fulfilling and loving instead of living in this horrible limbo all the time. And if you can't, then maybe then you'll be able to have the resolve to leave.
Very good. Well, how about that?
That was a short answer, but I think I really said what I needed to say.
Very good. So, do you want to?
And I want you to write back and let me know.
So, do you want to make any announcements?
So I've already announced 15 minutes from.
Oh, we have a retreat coming up.
Yeah, we have a retreat. Oh my God!
Oh, yes, this is a weekend retreat at the end of October, the last weekend in October. What's the theme, Granny?
The theme is co-creating the life we want and you'll be working with me directly in person.
Yes.
Yes, if you come to Oregon, or you can meet with the group in the San Diego area, or you can do it online anywhere.
Yes.
And
Yes.
at the end of that, I'm going to do a piano concert called Without a Net, intuitively guided improvisational piano music.
Yes.
And that's where I really play the piano, not just in the background. And that's going to be done. That's free, even if you don't come to the retreat, and we're going to be announcing that too. And we have all kinds of things coming up. Go to theinnerrevolution.org.
Yeah.
theinnerrevolution.org. www, and you'll see all kinds of stuff that we're doing. And don't forget that 15 minutes from the live show tonight, you can join us at Granny's Kitchen. And if you want to know how to submit a question, do submit a question. Submit a question, or if you want to know how to join us live at the
Granny's Kitchen.
Granny's Kitchen, then take a look at any of the posts for the show, and it has all that information in it. Where it's just, we're growing, we're meeting new people. Lots of people are beginning to join us or talk to us or communicate with me, and I love it. I love to talk to people and get to know you.
And it's a very safe, caring, supportive environment.
Oh, yes. And you can do it via computer, or you can call in. It's to the video conference, and you can be anonymous, or you can have your face out there like we do, and it is safe. And these topics that you guys ask about are really important, and you'd be amazed when you ask a question how many people you're helping, because you have no idea how many people are facing similar issues in their life. So bless you for watching, bless you for asking questions, bless you for listening, and let's keep this momentum going.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Come back and see us.
See you next week.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.